Hey guys, welcome back. This is Tarun again, back with another fitness video. So, I would like to thank you folks, for kind of showering me with so much of love and affection that, it becomes very, very important for me to share not just information, but correct and useful information which will come in handy to you. And in this video, I want to share something very, very special with you, and I want to talk about something which we all have gone through or which we may go through at least once in our lifetime, which is injury. And injury is something that it's very, very common, especially if you're training with, whether it's strength training, sports training, or strength and conditioning, any form of training whatsoever. Injury is something you can never avoid. Even if you do all the right moves, even if you have the right range of motion, everything is right for you, still chances of you getting injured, if not inside the gym, outside the gym, somewhere or the other you will get injured. So in this video, I want to share with you that if you get injured, you should never ever let that injury affect your mind, because what I've seen is I've trained a lot of athletes, I've trained a lot of bodybuilders, I've trained a lot of people, and what I've seen is when they get injured is they give up. When I say give up, they're like, oh Tarun, I can't train now, I'm injured, I can't do this because my leg is, probably I have an ankle injury, I can't walk properly, what do? I think my training has taken a backseat, I don't think I can ever train. Guys, what I want to share with you is that injury is something, it is more than physical, it is mental in nature. It affects your mind, and anything which affects your mind will have a toll on you, and anything you do, like for example, if you're training in the gym and let's say you get injured, let's say you injure your lower back. First of all, if you get injured or if you get anything related to your back, guys, first thing you should do is just stop your workout. Especially when it comes to your lower back, if you're doing deadlifts, whatever, just stop your workout. Don't try to be a hero by saying, hey, I can lift. That moment, that weak moment can actually spell disaster for you. So whenever you feel that by doing any exercises, shoulder cuff is another, rotator cuff is another, shoulder injury is another one that and it has happened to me so many times. While lifting shoulders, I've developed this problem that wherein my rotator cuffs gives me a lot of problem. If you've seen my video A Day in a Life of Tarun, you will see that my movements are half partial, partial rather. I cannot go full range of motion is because of that injury. I'm still recovering from that injury, but you know what, I've taken enough rest, but I haven't given up on it. There are certain movements which I go full range of motion, and there are certain moments which I feel are restricted because of my shoulder. I go partial on it. So that's one of the reasons. Coming back to you or anybody who gets injured, anything to do with lower back, guys, stop your workout then and there, and rest for a day or two. It's always good to rest in that period rather than taking rest for weeks if you were to aggravate that problem. Same goes for your shoulders. If anything were to go wrong, just take rest. And the best way to fix your injury is to rest for a day or two. If it doesn't go, trust me, if it doesn't go, then it's time for you to go to a doctor or someone that you trust. I have this thing about doctors, because at times doctors try to complicate things. They try to scare you, hey, you have a big injury and stuff like that. And guys, there have been a lot of injuries of mine and people that I know have been fixed on their own, and there are certain injuries where you don't have to pay too much of heat. For example, if you're training and let's say your wrist start hurting or your arm start hurting, some injuries are not injuries, they're just spasms, something which probably happens for you lifting heavier weights, or it's just a reaction of a muscle or elongation. You really don't have to pay too much of heat, and they usually subside in a day or two. But most of the times we have also seen people confuse muscle soreness with injury. Muscle soreness is nothing, but your muscle has gone through that wear and tear and it hasn't recovered from that particular session. And we feel, because we get so scared that hey, we are injured, and it happens usually a lot with your bicep curls or with your shoulders, that because you've lifted heavy, and shoulder is something that every big movement revolves your shoulder, and every movement is around your shoulders. And if you lifted heavy and you've not rested and you've hit the gym again the next day, obviously your shoulder is going to give you problems. And if you were to continue to lift heavy, what will happen? Eventually what started out as soreness will develop into an injury. So I always tell you guys that whenever you develop some soreness, first don't confuse soreness with injury. Soreness will develop an injury if you were to continue to train with heavy weights despite that soreness. So whenever there is soreness, or wherever you feel this delayed onset soreness, which happens usually after 2-3 days, take rest. And I've done a video on it wherein that what's the best time to take rest. Again, I'm going to summarize it for you. The best way to plan rest is that if you have a heavy workout next day, which is tomorrow, and you want to do heavy legs, so what you may want to do is take rest today so that you can lift heavy tomorrow. Or you can also plan it for day after. Let's say you've done legs tomorrow, you may want to recover from that heavy leg workout, you can take rest day after tomorrow. So you need to be smart about your own body, guys. You don't try to be a hero, because what will happen is eventually your body will give up on you, and then rather than you doing something, then eventually once you get injured, then you would have to do something about it, and more than anything, it'll kill you mentally. It'll kill you for the fact that hey, I can't train, and because you won't be able to train, it'll get into a very depression mode. I did, because if I don't train for a few days, I'm sure it happens with all of us. If you don't train for a few days, we feel that we've put on weight. 2, we feel, hey, the pump is gone, the hypertrophy is gone. 3, we feel really, really fat and miserable. Our days are not the same. So to avoid that depression, guys, my humble request to you is rest, and whenever there's injury, take about a day or 2 off from it, and don't let that injury affect your mind. Because if your mind is stable enough that, hey, I'm going to recover from this injury, it's not even an injury. You have to consistently tell yourself, this will go in about a day or 2, and you'll be surprised. Again, I'm going to share this with you. Probably no one has ever shared this with you, with anybody. There was this time when I was doing my steroid cycle. And what I had done was I had injected a shot at the wrong spot, which is obviously on my glutes. And because of that wrong shot, my glutes swell. And it swelled so bad that, I couldn't even sit. And it turned into an abscess. It got really, really worse, guys. So my point to you, but did I give up? No. I did all that. I applied all the ointments, I applied all the ice packs of the world. I did everything I could, because I had signed up for it, because I knew it. If something were to go wrong, I have to deal with the consequences. Similarly, if you folks have signed up for a fitness lifestyle, you need to deal with the consequences of injury, which may or may not happen. If it were to happen, take it like a man and face it head on. Don't let it affect your mind. So I hope you deal with injuries with utmost ease, and deal with them, and they shall pass too, but don't let it affect your mind, guys. So any one of you who have any question, or who's recovering from any injury and not being able to work out, feel free to reach out to me. I'll be able to help you out, how you can actually go back to the gym and start training again. Please feel free to reach out to me either on my YouTube, Facebook, or on my Instagram, and I'll be very happy to help you. So until we meet again, peace